Common mispronounced common words. You might have seen some of these words in other places, but let's look at this the English Hacks way. Hi, I'm Josh, your American English guide, and this is English Hacks Pronunciation, where I help you to sound like a native and to understand natural American speech better. Today we are going to look at 19 commonly mispronounced common words. Why 19? Why not 19? Of course, if you have some other recommendations that you want me to talk about, definitely leave those in the comments, and I will make another video once we have enough suggestions. What about advanced words? Yeah, advanced words too. Now before we begin, I will be using the English Hacks phonetic transcription method, which you can find a link to download your free copy of that in the description. First, I'm just going to say all of these words. You will be able to see my mouth, and you will be able to see the English Hacks phonetic transcription. After that, we'll look in detail at each word and what some of the common problems are, maybe how to flow between two sounds, and all that interesting information that might be useful for you. So first, the words. Is, of, what, 3, train, to, on, up, other, look, put, something, world, though, walk, answer. The three versions: say, says, said, receipt, close. Now remember, this is the English Hacks way, so some of those might have surprised you or might seem a little interesting with the way that I was pronouncing them. So let's take a closer look at the details for each of these words. The very first word that we will look at today is, that's it, it's the word is. Now, this is commonly mispronounced for two reasons, because it has two sounds. First is the vowel. This is not the sound E or E. It is the second vowel on the vowel chart, I, just like the word it. The S is actually a Z sound. Now, if you contract it and is to its, it will become an S because the T is voiceless. That's a special case. Is. Speaking of two-letter words, our next word is the preposition of. Now, if you have seen my lesson on the logic of the preposition of, and yes, prepositions are logical, then you will already know how to pronounce this word. But in case you haven't seen it yet, this word is spelled with an O, and it's spelled with an F. Now, you would think that it should be pronounced like oaf, or off, maybe, but off is O-F-F. This word is of. We have a schwa sound, and we have a V sound, of. Although the V sound in many cases is actually dropped, such as kinda. And what's the next word? Why, it's the word what, of course. So the word what is very commonly mispronounced, and that is mostly because of the vowel sound. We see the letter A, and a lot of English learners try to pronounce this like what. Instead, this is actually a schwa sound. Technically, if it's stressed, it should be the upside down V, which for various reasons I say is also the not true schwa, but it's the schwa, it's the same sound basically. And you can watch my lesson on the schwa sound for more information about that. But this word is just the W sound plus the schwa sound plus a T, what. And of course you can stop that T, what. What? So that was our first 3 words, and that's our next word. The letter 3. The letter 3. 3 is not a letter. The number 3. This can be a very difficult combination for English learners because we have the TH sound, which can already be difficult, and then we have the R sound, which is usually also very difficult. So make sure that when you're doing the R, that you're not tapping. It's not thr, okay? We want a nice good an English consonant sound. So th, right? TH, th, thur. You could also do a dental T for the TH sound, which is a special common variation that is not informal, and that might be easier for you. Don't do a T up here. Don't say tree. That's not right. It's here. T, and then 3. Notice that as I'm doing that TH sound, my lips already kind of coming out for that R, which is optional for the sound, but can really help you get a nice good sound. 3. And our next word is another very commonly difficult combination, the TR combination. And we're going to use the word train as an example, but this also applies to tree, trick, whatever else. Some speakers probably say with a T and an R, like train, tree, trick. But that's not how I speak, and that can actually be a little harder to do. The easy thing is, instead of saying a T sound, when you have T plus the consonant R, not the vowel R, the consonant R, like in train, tree, trick. Notice I'm saying ch. It's a CH sound. This is the way that I recommend you say it, and this is the way that I say it. Train. Next, we have the preposition to. Yes, this seemingly simple little word actually has a lot of variation. And this is probably the one single word in the English language that has the most variability and is most easily changed by the sounds around it. Now, the full pronunciation of this word, that's not reduced, okay? The full pronunciation is to. So we have a T, which in English goes up here, not on the teeth, and we're going to say the oo sound, spelled with an O, but it's oo, to. However, the oo is almost always reduced to a. There are times when it's not, and it could always just come out as an oo. It's possible, but usually this is going to be a schwa sound. T. Now, depending on what's before the T, it might change into a flapped D, like goda. It might disappear, like in wanna. There's all kinds of little things that can happen, so don't worry about all the variation now. But this is another really great reason to focus on sound and not spelling. Next, we have another preposition, the preposition on. Now, this preposition in fast speech can possibly be reduced. The full pronunciation and the way we think of it is ah, the fifth vowel sound, and a regular front n, on. However, in fast speech, you will sometimes hear this be pronounced more like a schwa, like n, or a syllabic n, but it usually only reduces if the context is clear. So if I say like what's on the menu, we can't say in, what's on the menu. It can reduce to a schwa, n, what's on the menu. But if I say on the table, and I try to say a schwa, what's on the table? It's not clear if I'm saying on or in, because in can also reduce to a schwa in that case. And both on the table and in the table are perfectly correct phrases depending on what we're talking about. Next up, we have up. Nice little transition, eh? So this, of course, is the schwa again, with the P sound. And that P, by default, is going to normally just be a stop P, but it depends on what happens after it. The full pronunciation would be up with a P pushed out, but normally it's stopped. Up. Then we have the word other. This is not other or other or something, and of course that TH again, plus an vowel sound now instead of an consonant sound. It's the same basic sound, but the vowel's a little bit longer, but still a difficult combination. So the O here is that upside down V stressed schwa, the not true schwa sound. Then we have the TH and the ER. There. In this case, we're not likely to actually do the dental TH because it's in the middle of a word, and because we have to pull back into that it actually makes it more difficult and it takes more time to go all the way flat. So we're really likely to do an actual full TH sound here. Other. And looking at the next word here on my list, we have the word look. Look is difficult for a couple of reasons. First, we have the L. Now, the L in English is not like this. Okay, we're not going to do this. In fact, we have two L's. We're not going to worry about the second one because we'll see that later. The normal full L, or what's commonly called the light L, but I don't like that, is you bring your tongue up like this. Okay, you can touch the teeth. You can go on the teeth. It's okay. But you want to go here, not super flat, just the front part here, nice and flat. The OO in this word is actually the sound that I call the high schwa, the sound like in book. If you want to know why I call it the high schwa, you can watch the main lesson for that. Of course, at the end of look, we have that K, which fully pronounced would be K, but this is commonly stopped unless there's something after it that would activate or change it. Look. Speaking of the high schwa, we also have the word put. This time it's just spelled with the letter U. We don't have a letter to spell the high schwa. Okay, sometimes it's OO, sometimes it's U. There are a couple other random possibilities, but it's put. But normally we're gonna stop that T unless something special happens after it. Put. But put what, do you ask? Well, put something on the table, please. That's the next word, something. Now this is an interesting one. This is of course a compound word. First we start with the S, which isn't too hard. S. Then we go to, again, that upside down V, the not true schwa. Then we're gonna go to the M, some. The E is silent. Then we have the word thing, which is being attached to this compound word. So we have the TH, voiceless. After that, we have a couple things that we can do. Now, I made a lesson talking about the ing hack, and you can go watch that lesson if you haven't, if you want more information. Now, normally in the word thing by itself, you have to use the back ng sound. Okay, the vowel could be E or I. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter. I use E, but you have to use ng. Okay, you can't use a normal N. If you add ing to a word, you can use a normal N. And the hack that I gave you was to always, in any case, whether you add ing or it's a core part of a word, to always just say E plus ng, because that's generally the easiest way and you'll still sound natural. Or if you want to use I, the second vowel, plus ng, and you're already used to that, then just do that. That's fine. What in the world is a transition? I didn't have anything for this. Our next word is world. We have the W sound, which isn't difficult for everybody, but that's W. Remember, we do not want the V sound, and we want to make sure that the lips come out for the W. We want no V. It's W. Then we're going to It's spelled with an O, but it is not an O sound. It's just a regular vowel. This is one of the exception words where you have OR in a stressed syllable, and it's actually instead of or. Then we're going to ul. Now this L sound, you could pronounce it as a full L consonant or a light L, and that would be world. But that actually makes it a little more difficult, at least from the perspective of a native. What we do here is a half L vowel sound, which you can see on my vowel chart here. So this is actually an L-colored vowel. Earl. For more information about how to actually make the half L vowel sound or the dark L, you can check out the lesson for that. But basically, you're not going to bring your tongue up, and you're going to be using the back of your tongue. After that, of course, we have a D. If we fully pronounce the word, you can push that D out. World. Of course, it might connect if there's some connection or whatever else is going on, but without anything special, it's going to probably be a stop. World, which is not the same as dropping it. The next word is actually really easy to pronounce, although the TH can be a problem, of course. It's really the spelling that makes it difficult because it's a confusing spelling. It's the word though. This O-U-G-H or sometimes A-U-G-H, you cannot trust the spelling for this. Commonly, relatively commonly, it's the fifth vowel ah, but not always. So again, we do not want to trust our eyes. Okay, you have to know how to spell, but focus on your ears first. So this is the TH sound voiced, th, with the O vowel, O, though, though. Okay, it's not though or the or something like that. We don't have ch as a sound in English. So if you see GH and you want to say ch in your throat, doesn't exist. It's not even a regular H like h. And our next word is also commonly mispronounced, again because of the spelling. You guys have to watch out for this. It is the word walk. AL is a common spelling pattern for the fifth vowel, just like AW. But when it represents the fifth vowel sound, it's usually silent. If you see two L's, like all, call, fall, wall, then it's an L-colored fifth vowel, and the second L actually creates the L, where the first L is silent. Sometimes you will see the spelling AL, and it's actually the fourth vowel, L-colored, like malware. Or it might be a schwa with a half L vowel to make it an L-colored schwa, like in final, or most words that end with AL. So again, focus on your ears, not your eyes. Definitely do not say walk. That is completely wrong. And our next word, again, the spelling really confuses English learners. The word answer. That W, it is a silent W. We have many silent Ws in English. In fact, it's probably used as a silent letter more than it's actually pronounced. So here we have an, right, which is the fourth vowel a plus a regular front n, an. And then we have an s, ants, ants. W is silent. We're going to go straight into that vowel sound. Answer. So it sounds just like sir. Answer. Answer. Now the next one is a special group, which is the basic conjugations for the verb to say. This is a common problem because it changes. The verb itself is say, the diphthong a. Not se with the third vowel, say with the diphthong. It's also pronounced this way with I say, you say, we say, and they say. But for that third person, when we add the S, it becomes says. S plus the third vowel, and then that last S is a Z, just to make it extra confusing and difficult for you. Again, focus on your ears. Now this is actually kind of easy to remember because the past tense, or also that third form with the present perfect, or the passive, like has said, is said, that is S plus E, the third vowel, and then a D, which of course by default is stopped, said. Next word is receipt. The fully enunciated pronunciation would be re, so R plus the E vowel, the first vowel sound, E, re, plus the S, another E, and a T. Okay, probably a stop T if there's nothing special. The P is silent, okay? It's not receipt or recept or reciped or something like that. That's a common pronunciation mistake. The first syllable re will usually be reduced to either re with the second vowel e, like it, or it'll be reduced to ra with a schwa. Receipt or receipt. Now, if you have a receipt, maybe you went to the store and bought some clothes. Now there's a TH here, but I'm not saying the TH, right? I'm saying k, o, z. Yes, with a Z sound, not an S. The full pronunciation of this word is clothes. So that's the first thing. The full pronunciation has a voiced TH and then a Z. Many English learners try to say clothes or closes or clothes or something like that. That E is completely silent. Completely silent. Not even in the full pronunciation do we say the E, okay? It is silent. So that's the first thing. Make sure you don't add that extra syllable there. If you want to say the TH, you can, to sound nice and clear and enunciated. We will sometimes do that, but most of the time, many people just say close. And notice that the KL is a consonant cluster that can be difficult to do. You're going to start in the K, which is the back of the tongue, and you're going to immediately, as soon as you release that, you're either going to bring this up, or you can possibly already have it up to where both are touching at the same time. So either k, kl, 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 or at the same time, kl, kl, kl. Either way is fine as long as you don't have an extra sound between the k and the ul. We don't want like kull or something. Close, close. And that was 19 words, but don't leave yet. There's a special bonus word. You didn't think I would just put 19 words into a lesson, did you? Yeah, of course I wouldn't. Anyway, the pronunciation, the word is pronunciation. This is commonly mispronounced because the verb to pronounce has the diphthong ow in the middle, pronounce. But the noun pronunciation, first of all, there's no OU in the spelling. It's just the letter U. But of course, we know the spelling can't be trusted. In this case, it actually can because it's not ow, it's And this is again that upside down V, the not true schwa. And it is on the syllable that receives the secondary stress, not the primary stress. The primary stress is pronunciation. And that's it. Do you guys like this more animated type of lesson thing, whatever I'm doing here, to teach you English? I don't know, I kind of like this style, but I also feel that maybe it seems a little unprofessional in a way, you know? Or do you want me to be more scholarly and educated and refined in my formality of approach to the point where I stop talking with a British accent? Let me know. In the meantime, a very special thanks to our Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for watching another English Hacks lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Where'd my glasses go?